What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the episode 11 of Women Who Owned New Orleans. And on today's episode, we're going to speaking about Modeste Foucher. This is another family legacy that again held impact for generations because Modeste was the mother of Thomy Lafon, who I'll be featuring in a future episode. And their family legacy stretches all the way to Johns Hopkins University and Hospital. Now, Modeste Foucher is truly a real estate mogul of the era. She actually owned multiple properties, and we're going to look at what she did strategically and how it applies to you today. So, first of all, she had mixed use rentals, meaning that the first store of her two-story structures, as in particular the ones on Charter Street, featured shops for different merchants and sailors and grocers and artisans to be able to share and sell their goods and produce, right? And the upper levels, she actually rented out to single people and families who needed a place to stay. So I want you guys to pay attention to that because we talk about mixed use rental property today as though it was a modern invention. No, nothing is new under the sun, baby. And we are only building on the legacy that they left us. So we got to do right by it. So in addition to the properties where, she had rental income, she also used part of her Charter Street holdings as primary family residences for she and her children and her domestic partner, Bartolome Lafon, who was an engineer and architect of the era. And also, she also utilized her property as a social center for herself and other free women of color. So there's witness testimonies as well as archival evidence that she actually used the space as a centerpiece for um, private discussions, private meetings, education, housing social gatherings, managing financial matters, discussing how to manage these things, sharing information, and sharing resources. Another thing about Foucher's example that really what she exemplifies as one of several women who did these things was she wasn't simply like a buy and hold real estate type of investor. She also did property swaps. So in October 1805, for example, one of the transactions that she did was she leveraged a Bourbon Street property that she had in a property swap with Francois and Etienne de Flechier to acquire a property on Orleans Street in exchange for it. She also did a thing where she did partial sales. So, for example, kind of like a co-op purchase type of thing, or like selling off condos and whatnot. She sold off a portion of her property in March 1806 on Charter Street to um, Pierre Fouché. She also, this is an amazing thing, she also took it a step further, and many free women of color did this as well, giving mortgages and using their own real estate holdings as collateral for those mortgages that they gave, right? So they would give loans to other people and act as a go-between person to allow those people to have the capital to further invest and grow wealth. So expanding beyond her own real estate holdings and assisting others with building theirs. So as you've been watching this episode, you've been seeing the addresses, you've been seeing the property. So as you can see, her real estate is still present. So you can definitely stop by and visit and express gratitude. And I also want to point out, like I mentioned at the beginning, the her properties were a training ground for her son, Thomy Lafon, who built his own legacy in his own right. Right. So he was right there alongside his mom, going through the notary contracts, the lease collections, the land conveyances. He got a firsthand education in real estate law and property valuation that would go to serve him very well as he ventured off on his own. Modeste Foucher's son, Thomy Lafon, inherited her real estate holdings and used the capital from that inheritance, as well as the business acumen that he inherited from his mom, to develop his own real estate empire and philanthropy. And so, in the next episode, even though this has all been about women who own New Orleans, I want to talk about one of their children, even though he's the son, right? We're going to venture out. We're going to talk about what he did, right? Because there are several women and men who were children of these women featured who went on to do amazing things. And in the next episode, not only are we going to talk about Thomy Lafon's legacy and the Thomy Lafon School, which also directly connects with one of the other women that we featured in this series. So I'm going to circle back to that and show you the 360 of this legacy building among these women of New Orleans. But we're also going to touch on the legacy and the descendant who went on to be one of the founders of Johns Hopkins Hospital and University. Now, for more information on this particular episode, you can check out the Historic New Orleans collection. The notarial archives are available online digitally. I had a hard time finding her name in there, but the archives are there to locate. There's also the plans available on the Collards Billard in the notarial archives and plan book collection. All of these things can be used to find information and primary sources about the legacy of Modeste Foucher. And once again, as I mentioned, you're looking at yet another woman who, when a woman is given opportunity to lead, her impact can extend for generations to come. Be sure to come back for episode 12, where we expand on the legacy of Modeste Foucher by talking about her son, Thomy Lafon, as well as his sisters, and extending to Johns Hopkins.